What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another Solo Leveling Arise video. It's your boy Payne, and we're doing a tier list update. That's right, we got Harper, and we're going to be putting her into the mix and changing some things around from the last month tier list that we did, because a lot more testing, and I'm talking an obscene amount of testing has been done on all the characters here, and now we have a better understanding of their potential. Thank you to the guild boss, of course, with the damage meters. POD now with the damage meters. I've done about 10 plus hours worth of testing on a lot of these characters, so we're going to actually revamp a lot of this, and we're going to focus on which characters are the best to the worst. So let's start off at the bottom of the list as usual. Nothing here has really changed. Park and Joe are going to be the two worst characters right now, in my opinion, who are SRs. Nobody really focuses on them. They're just there. Really gotta give them some sort of love. But anyways, no one's really using SRs anymore, and quite honestly, guys, in my opinion, we're never going to get any more SRs. I know a lot of people have been asking for them, but there really hasn't been a need to get SRs anymore, because the SSRs kind of do everything the SRs already provide plus more. So I think SRs are going to be a dying breed, and quite honestly, with the level of content that's coming out and the difficulty of content, they're going to be more and more on the bench than before. So keep that in mind, all right? So next up, we have ourselves Kim, and we have ourselves Song. So both of these guys are going to probably be exactly where they left them last time. The B section here, we're going to put Song Hee. And she's actually still not a bad unit, to be honest. For an SR, she does have her utility, which is essentially to do poisons, some crit damage, and some health recovery removal, so bosses can't recover their health. So if you don't have Cha-Hien, she's not a bad option to choose for that specific portion, or I guess Yusuyuna as well too. So keep that in mind. That's really the only reason why you use her, though. Outside of that, kind of takes a back burner to everybody else. Let's go with A ranks. We have Kang, Joe-Hee. We have ourselves the three other breakers. So Joe. Jinho, Jinho, Kim, and Hung Suk. I'm pretty sure I got all those names right this time. It's been a while since I've used them. Jinho obviously is probably the best light breaker in my opinion of the SRs. Kim is a very close second, actually. I just like his potion abilities. Hung Suk is actually a really good dark unit for breaking. Currently the second best dark unit now for breaking when... yeah, that's right. It says second best breaker. Actually, no, I'll say third. Lim is still a little bit better. I have to give Lim a little bit more credit. Kang is really good still as a unit. Good damage reduction on the opponents. Also, the ability to bleed is good, but unfortunately everybody resists bleed nowadays, so that kind of takes away his stock. But overall, still not a bad unit. And Joe-Hee's actually been used a lot more often now to keep mana and HP replenished, so not a bad option if you are struggling with, if you're a new player, especially struggling with getting some of these SSRs. These guys are going to be some of your best bets, okay? Now, going over to S, we have ourselves Anna, Nam, and Park, okay? So, made a little bit of a rearrangement. They used to be an SS, but now that we have the introduction of a lot more breakers and better breakers, these guys are kind of now dropping down the list a little bit. In that category, though, we're going to start adding in some SSRs as well. So Beck is going to sit there as probably the worst light breaker now in the game for SSRs. Of course, Gun-Hee just overshadows and over DPSs him almost in every single regard. Hung Suk still needs some love, bro. Man needs some love. They really got to give him the woo treatment, like, badly. And I mean badly. And then, of course, Lim. Now, listen, a lot of you guys might defend Lim. I'm sorry. I did testing. You guys can go watch the live stream. We compared him as a breaker to Harper, Gun-Hee, and Suh. He was always last place. Even a damage perspective, he was last place. And he's actually scaling off attack. So, as much as I want to show him some more love, he is unfortunately going to be down the list a little bit further now. So, we're going to put him there. Now, added to this part, we're going to throw in, unfortunately, Choi. Listen, I try to defend my mans. I did. Today, I was doing a specific fire mode side quest where you had to kill the opponent with fire, and he wouldn't even qualify. Every time I killed the opponent with the fire move, he didn't qualify. Anyways, not the point here. Obviously, that's just a joke. But he definitely needs a little bit of love. You know how to fix Choi? It's super easy. Let him crit. If you let him crit, this man would be up here. Without crit, he definitely belongs right here. He is definitely better than Dongsu, though, so we're going to put that right there. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next category, which is the SS ranks. Okay, now the SS ranks are, I'd say, one below top tier. You pretty much can fit in any team, okay? SM Beck, definitely deserves it up there. He's got a big buff. He does wicked damage now, and is actually a much better character overall. Unfortunately, you do require to get his A3 and a buff to really see him shine, but nonetheless, they did do some buffs. He's not bad now. Okay, so definitely deserves that love. Next up, I'm gonna put is this is gonna be tough. I'm still gonna put Yusu Yuna on here, guys. Unfortunately, until we really see, like, okay, so a lot of people want a fire support. She really is that current fire support by increasing the fire damage the opponent takes. She does good damage relatively. Unfortunately, she just doesn't have that much content currently to use, and from like besides POD, I guess, and Guild Boss to some extent, but outside of that, she's unfortunately not carrying her own, which is a problem. All right, so we're gonna put her there now. I'm gonna throw her in here this time. I had her in SSS before. I'm actually going to throw her in here. Now, a lot of people might not be happy about this. I don't care what you say. I know I do care what you say, obviously. But the reason why she's coming down here is I have to compare her to the other 3 major buffers, which is Min, Meilin, and with, Lee Bora, right? So, Meilin and Min, I feel like are still better overall. Okay? I do think she's just as good as Libora, or Libora is right there with her for Dark versus Wind. Obviously, Libora is more of a DPS, while Handsome Pants is more of a complete CC healer, mono recovery, immortality buffer, right? So she is still really good. She could still be arguably up here, but I feel like if you compare the 3 different support classes, she just is a tad bit lower than the rest. That's just my take on it, okay? Wu is going to go here as well, too. Wu's incredible. Much better unit overall now. And then Sa. That's right, Sa dropped down a list. That's going to happen sometimes, guys. It's unfortunate, but that's how it's going to work. So, moving over to the SSS, okay? So, we got, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop Min down, okay? I'm going to drop Min down. Hear me out. Okay, here's the reason why Min is down a slot. Because we're getting more and more content where Disguise is not usable, and if Disguise is not usable, he's only doing 5% extra damage on punishment, and he's not actually providing his main part of his ult, which is giving you the crit damage buff bonus. He's actually dropping quite a bit. If you're looking at all content outside of the raid content, he'll be up here. But because I have to now consider all content, and there's a guild boss now, and there's POD, etc., he actually does lose a little bit of his stock and will go down to SS. Just again, I'm trying to be as critical as I possibly can, okay, in this whole scenario. All right, so there you guys go. That's pretty much it. Now, if we look at fire, the best fire unit in the game is still Emma. Still does everything. Still useful for every content. Can still clear stages better than anybody else. So she's going to sit up there. Next up is going to be Meilin. Okay, Meilin can pretty much fit in any team and buff that team ridiculously and keep them as probably the top DPS if she wants to be. After that, it's going to be Cha. Right, Cha has actually moved up. I had her in SS before, moving her back up because we see the results of putting her in a proper light team, and she still does insane amount of DPS if she's paired with the right units. And then it's going to be Alicia. That's right, Alicia. And then it's going to be Mirai. That's right, Mirai. And then it's going to be Harper. And then it's going to be our boy Gunhee. That's right. So from all of my testing, okay, this is probably how it would look, to be honest with you guys. All right, so Mirai being the top DPS in the game for sure still. Harper is a close second to Gunhee. Gunhee is for sure the best unit in my opinion right now in the game. By far. It's not even, like, there's competition to it, but what he brings to the table is obscene. Number one, he boosts all light damage, making Cha relevant again, so that's why she's back up here. Only reason why she's back up here, by the way, is because of him. Number two, he's going to be future-proof character for future units who are light, so Thomas and Gina, when she comes out. Gina, I know it's Gina. I like to call her Gina. And then, overall, man is unstoppable. Barely ever dies. Does incredible buffs on himself and his team. And at the same time, is the fastest breaker in the game. Yes, he might not have almighty break like Harper does, but he is still ridiculous. So you could arguably do 1 and 2 or 1, 2, and 3 right here, but these 3 units right here are currently the most unstoppable 3 units in the game. The biggest problem with Mirai, of course, is the fact that she's super squishy, but if you're looking at full-on damage, nobody currently beats her in the game. If you're looking at full-on utility, survivability, break, gun heat is the best character in the game. And then Harper, of course, is second best character when it comes down to breaking and overall damage. Well, third best character, I say, for overall damage. But every test I've done, guys, if you missed out on the test, the live stream, I did 18 to 20 full-on tests, which shows you damage meters and everything. Gun heat always came out on top. We're talking about A10 to A10, same skill levels, A10 weapon to A10 weapon. Gun heat came out on top almost every single time. I think there was 1 or 2 times where there's a very marginal difference between the two, but outside of that, he blew her out of the water. So there you guys have it. That is my take on the brand new tier list. Some of these can be argued. Again, Tansumi can technically be up here with Triple S to some extent. But Min is also very arguable, but because now we're looking at raid content more and more, Min's, in my opinion, Min stock has dropped a little bit, but still doesn't take away the fact that these are amazing characters. But there is your Triple S class, in my opinion. If you guys have comments or questions, let me know. Would love to hear back from you. This is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.